10 years ago, Pastor Generino DiStefano, the pastor who hired me at Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale, announced to our department he and his wife Margaret would be leading 2 of the 5 short-term mission teams the church would send to Rome during the year of Jubilee 2000. Jubilee, for those who don't know, is an event created by the Catholic Church in the year 1300 for the purpose of Catholic pilgrimage worldwide. It was originally a time to bring Catholics back to faith and reignite their relationship with the Church. The conditions of the world were terrible, and the Pope modeled the pilgrimage event from the Old Testament promise God had made with Israel for following his instructions of resting on the Sabbath weekly, as well as every 6 years, the farmland was to be rested. God abundantly promised a bumper crop to last through the 7th year, and additionally, God promised the 49th year would be a wonderful year of Jubilee. This was to be a continual commitment from God. Most everyone knows the outcome of the biblical account. Israel never kept their part of the commitment and didn't enjoy the Jubilee experience. Instead, to give the land its rest, God led the Israelites off as captives in Babylon exactly the number of years he had asked the land to be rested. So what does this have to do with 10 years of ministry in Rome? Everything. Because 700 years later, the renewal of faith through pilgrimage has become a time of forgiveness of sin, according to current Catholic teaching, by returning to Rome and humbly entering through one of the 4 appointed holy sites during the appointed year of Jubilee, which was most recently the year 2000 to correspond with the millennium. Teaming up with Italy for Christ and Potter's Field Ministry, Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale sent 5 teams and more than 125 people to share the gospel, distribute literature, build relationships, and outreach in the piazzas of Rome. From those 125 people, about 40 were meeting regularly at Pastor Generino's home because they felt God had more for them to do in Italy. Calvary Chapel asked one of our contacts at Italy for Christ to come and to train with us in preparation for a church plant. And in 2003, Deborah and Lucas Sinatra, along with Marco and Cinzia Basile, who are related to one another, and myself, arrived in Rome to see just what God had in store. There were outreaches, literature distributions, puppets and mimes in the park, soccer matches, lots of singing, and lots of friendly food fellowship as well. I had begun to study the Italian language, and Rome became home in my heart. God's plan to use Rome as means of sharing the gospel isn't new. In fact, God used Rome and its government system to spread the gospel throughout the entire Roman Empire. God used an Italian centurion to begin sharing the gospel to Gentiles through Peter. And Paul was a Roman citizen who appealed to Caesar because of his imprisonment he received as a result of sharing the gospel. During his imprisonment, Paul wrote significant portions of the New Testament here in Rome. If tradition is to be believed, Peter would have been crucified upside down, and the Bible teaches Paul was beheaded here by decree of Caesar Nero. It goes to prove that if Peter and Paul had difficulties sharing the gospel in Rome, I would have difficulties too. I wasn't tortured or persecuted, but my plans were not exactly his plans, and things didn't go exactly the way I had initially anticipated. But that didn't stop me from continuing to build relationships in Rome and continuing to return annually, building upon the foundation God had begun. Today, I enjoy the benefits of 10 years of relationship building here in Rome with local churches and international missions. I have the privilege of serving in many different churches in many different capacities. Currently, I provide media services for 2 different fellowships and teach English classes the churches provide. I am part of a young adults ministry in the community I'm living, And I have roommates from the very first church plant back in 2003, Deborah and Luca Sinatra. Marco and Cinzia are in Sicily with the rest of the Sinatra family, and I've had the privilege to do ministry with them as well. I also serve a local church assisting Afghan refugees. A few years ago, Operation Mobilization published a cover story about refugees entitled, "All Roads Lead to Rome." There is a vast population of international refugees in Rome, and this situation will continue to increase as the world's governments continue to war and cause difficulties for many people groups. Virtually every tribe and every tongue is represented here in Rome, and so if anyone really wanted the whole world to hear the gospel, this is the perfect city, like a light on a hill for the whole world to see. Untold amounts of visitors tour the city daily. With a simple gospel tract or an outreach in the piazza, many of them could return to their homes touched and changed by God's Spirit. Today, evangelical churches like this one where I currently serve are sprouting up throughout Italy, and Mission Roma's purpose is to assist local churches in outreach, evangelism, benevolent outreach, and training. I pray that God will speak to your heart about your involvement in taking the gospel to the whole world, and I pray you would consider praying for Mission Roma as I eagerly seek to share the good news with these who are in Rome too.